Okay. I'm going to lose some friends probably here when I ask this question. So let's talk about the loss of the 6 days from the school year and how it will affect our students. Okay? First, Bart, can you explain to us exactly how the 6 days has changed in the school calendar? Is it quarterly? Is it at the end of the year, the beginning of the year? Is it?
There are approximately 2 days per quarter. Now, obviously, a couple of them only have 1 day that we spaced it out so that every quarter will be affected. And that's why we have our semester after Christmas this year. Not the best situation, but the best we can do with what we had. But the 6 days are spread out so that it won't hurt the students too badly. I know it's harder on the teachers to prepare their lessons and things, but we all had to make adjustments, and it's not great. And I wish it hadn't happened, but it did, and so we've got to try and move forward with that. It isn't good for kids, it isn't good for the teachers, and it wasn't good for the board or the administration. But it's over, and so we're hoping we can move forward.
So it's either 1 or 2 days per quarter, correct? Okay. And so I'm imagining 2 in 1 quarter, 2 in 1 quarter, and 1 in each of the others, right? Okay. If we have snow days that we have to use, how will that be handled and work into that?
Unfortunately, as we already saw the snow today, I get a little nervous, but if snow days occur, we'll have to make those up at the end of the school year.
Okay. So we can add days on to the end of the school year, right?
Yes.
So we have 5 snow days typically, am I correct?
Right.
Okay. So what would happen if we added 11 days onto the end of the school year? Would the world end?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What would happen if we added 11 days on to the end of the school year? 5 for snow and 6 for 6 unpaid days.
You know, that seems so easy and simple, but here's the problem. We have summer school that has to start. We have teachers that go on and take courses at colleges. And so all those things come into play when you're building a calendar. And we're hoping that we don't have to make up any days because we've got to get our summer school started as soon as we can so that the kids get as much of the summer education as they possibly can. And hopefully that will help make up some of the days that we lost.
Okay. So I asked that question because there are parents who still believed that the 6 days were already taken during the strike. I do need for the board to understand that the community does not always know the answers to these questions. Okay, and so let me continue because I'm going there in just a minute. But for our high school students, and this is a little confusing to me how this works, but for our high school students who are on a 4-block schedule, 1 day missed is the equivalent of really 1.5 to 2 days, right? So if we have 2 days missed, then they could potentially be missing 3.5 to 4 days of school, really, right? That's just for the high school, okay? For our advanced placement students, they're on an accelerated learning schedule. So 1 day missed is the equivalent to 2.5 to 3 days for them. So if 2 days missed, that could potentially be, depending upon the class, the difference in 6 days, 5 to 6 days. Now that's significant for any child, and if they're working in AP classes, they're probably working in more than 1 AP class, so that's a lot of mistakes. So Mr. Sharp, let me ask you this question. As a teacher, on behalf of the district, do you feel comfortable in thinking our teachers are able to fit in the entire curriculum with this new calendar where 1 to 2 days per quarter are missed?
With so many state mandates being handed down to teachers in the state of Illinois, including the Common Core, more time is required to meet the curriculum guidelines than ever before. Teachers have been faced for quite some time now with the problem of having enough time to meet the curriculum in the past. So with the missing of extra days, it's going to make it either impossible to cover all the curriculum, or they're going to have to condense some of it, maybe not spend as much time on one topic as they feel is necessary for those kids to fully understand those concepts.
So my understanding from teachers is without the strike, without the 6 days, it's hard to fit everything in with the core anyway, right?
That would be correct.
Okay. So adding this to it, especially for an AP class, that could potentially be substantially difficult to get all the learning in, all the curriculum in your opinion.
In my opinion, that would be correct.
Luann, would you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Agree with that.
Do you teach?
I'm a counselor.
Okay. So, but you would agree based on conversations that you've had? Or
Yes.
Okay.
I think the teachers are struggling with what to do with the curriculum and what's going to get cut out and what's not.
Okay. Mike, can I ask you, have you spoken to any teachers about that?
Well, I taught for 32 years also, so I'm aware of what a teacher has to do to try to get things in. And you get as much in as you can in the amount of time that you have. That's just what all good teachers do. And, obviously with 2 less days, with, as David said, many more demands, it is hard. But, I think I have full confidence that teachers will try to get as much done as they can in the time that they have.
Okay. So they're going to get as much done as they can. And our board mission is, let's see if I've got that here. The mission is helping students achieve their dreams, right? So if that's the case, then are we really helping our children achieve their dreams if we're missing curriculum? I'm asking Mike that question, if I can. But, sorry.
Well, the whole, and you're talking really in reference to the 6 days.
I'm talking about students who are missing curriculum that are AP students, especially, that are trying to get to college and trying to take those tests to test out of classes once they get there, that are going to be missing curriculum to the tune of approximately 6 normal days. If you were one of those students and you're going to that high school, I think I might want to change high schools if I'm going to be missing curriculum, and I'm very serious. For instance, I might want to become a doctor. So my question to you is, really, did the board take into consideration how those students, those AP students, were going to be affected when they made the decision to get rid of the 6 days?
Well, first of all, the idea of having 6 less days, I think which month, I think the September board meeting, that I was, would like to see the 6 days restored. And I think different board members have different reasons for why they, took the positions that they did with this. So, I guess I really don't know how to answer that question because I can't speak for what those other board members. I'm not going to speak for them.
I try to expect for you to speak for them.
But, like I said, personally, I would have liked to have seen those days restored. And that was my position. I made that clear to 2 other board members in emails, which I believe you read once the FOIA request was made. I also made that very clear at the September board meeting. But again, in the situation that we have, I think, I have faith that the teachers in the school, the administrators in our schools will do the best they can with the time that they have to use.
Okay.
I would like to add just a couple things. It's not like they missed 6 days in a row. We spread it out 2 per quarter, which that helps. And the kids that are in the AP classes are the gifted kids, and they're going to work hard. And I know that's hard work, and I feel bad that we had to cut some of the curriculum for them. But in actuality, the curriculum won't change for them. They just have to go at a little quicker pace, and most of those kids are very capable. I'm more concerned about our kids that are at risk, and I feel bad that we have days taken from them. But the return to work agreement was signed and agreed upon, and that's the way the board felt it should go, and so that's the way we have to live with it.
And we understand as a community that that was the way that you felt, or everyone, not just you, Bart, or the board, but everyone, because you guys voted on it, and everyone agreed that that's the way it should go. I think the community feels, and I cannot speak on behalf of the entire community, I think that the community, especially the ones who are parents of students in District 205 right now, feel like there can be some give.